In the vast expanse of time, where memory fades into legend and history dissolves into myth, there stands a wonder that may never have been, and yet somehow has never ceased to exist: the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Even the name itself carries a weight of mystery, a whisper of impossible beauty rising from the desert sands. Tonight, we journey back through the centuries, through the dust of millennia, to a place where love and ambition created something that defied the very earth itself. Let yourself drift backward with me now, leaving behind the present moment, releasing the day that has passed, and floating gently into the warm, golden light of ancient Mesopotamia. Here, between two rivers, in a land called the Cradle of Civilization, a story unfolds as timeless as sleep itself. The Euphrates and the Tigris flow steadily through the fertile plains, their waters bringing life to a world of clay and sun-baked earth. And in this land of rivers and reeds, of palm groves and endless sky, there arose a city unlike any the world had ever seen: Babylon. Even now, the word carries magic. Close your eyes and feel the warmth of that ancient sun, softened by distance and time, as we begin our journey into a legend wrapped in beauty and crowned with flowers that bloomed where no flowers should have grown. To understand the gardens, we must first know the city, and to know the city, we must meet its king. Nebuchadnezzar II, ruler of Babylon during its most magnificent age, a time when the city's walls were wide enough for chariots to race upon them, when its temples reached toward heaven, and when its very name meant power, wealth, and wonder. But for all his might, for all his conquests, and all his glory, this great king harbored a tender concern. His wife, the beautiful Amytis, daughter of the Median king, had come to Babylon from the green mountains and lush valleys of her homeland. She had left behind the forests and the flowers, the cool shade and the mountain streams, to live in a city of brick and stone, surrounded by flat plains that stretched endlessly beneath an unforgiving sun. And though Babylon was magnificent beyond measure, though its markets overflowed with treasures from every corner of the known world, Amytis grew homesick. She would stand upon the palace walls and gaze toward the horizon, searching perhaps for mountains that lay far beyond sight, remembering the green abundance of the land where she was born. The king, who commanded armies and built monuments that would endure for ages, found himself powerless before his wife's quiet sadness. What gift could he give to someone who longed not for jewels or gold, but for the living green memory of home? And so, in his love and in his determination, an idea took root in his mind, an idea as audacious as it was tender, as impossible as it was inevitable. If his queen missed the mountains, he would build her a mountain. If she longed for gardens, he would give her gardens unlike any the world had ever seen. He would bring the green world to Babylon, raise it high into the air, and create for her a paradise that would make even the gods pause in wonder. Babylon in those days was already a wonder. The city rose from the plains like a jewel, its walls so massive that they seemed to have been built by giants rather than men. The Ishtar Gate, decorated with glazed bricks of brilliant blue and golden lions, opened onto the great processional way, where festivals brought color and music to the streets. Temples dedicated to Marduk and Ishtar reached upward, their ziggurats climbing toward the heavens in stepped layers of brick and ambition. Markets filled with spices from the east, with purple-dyed cloth from the coast, with copper and tin, with grain and dates and wine. The air hummed with a dozen languages, with prayers and songs and the eternal sound of building. For Babylon was always growing, always reaching, always becoming more than it had been. The Euphrates flowed through the city's heart, its waters both highway and lifeline, bringing trade and sustenance to hundreds of thousands of souls. At night, oil lamps flickered in windows like earthbound stars, and the city glowed with a warmth that spoke of human industry, of civilization at its peak, of order carved from chaos. This was Babylon during its golden age, when Nebuchadnezzar expanded its walls, restored its temples, and made it the greatest city in the world. And yet, for all this magnificence, the king dreamed of something more, something softer, greener, something that would bloom rather than merely stand. In the midst of all this stone and brick and monumental grandeur, he envisioned a garden. Not merely a garden, but a wonder. A place where nature would triumph over the desert, where green would cascade down in impossible terraces, where the very air would be sweet with flowers, and the sound of water would whisper constantly of life and abundance. This was his vision, his gift, his monument not to power, but to love. But where the gardens stood, or if they stood at all, remains one of history's most beautiful mysteries. No ruins have been found that can be conclusively identified as the Hanging Gardens. No archaeological evidence has definitively proven their existence, and yet ancient writers spoke of them with such wonder, such specific detail, such awe, that their words have kept the gardens alive through all the centuries that followed. Greek historians describe terraces rising 75 feet into the air, each level overflowing with trees and flowers and vines that cascaded downward like living waterfalls. They wrote of stone columns supporting the weight of earth deep enough for the roots of full-grown trees, of cedar beams that spanned impossible distances, of sophisticated irrigation systems that drew water from the river far below and carried it upward through hidden channels to nourish the highest terraces. They spoke of gardens so lush, so green, so utterly unexpected in the midst of the desert that travelers approaching Babylon would see them from miles away, rising like a verdant mountain from the flat plains, defying everything that nature and logic said should be possible in this dry land. Perhaps the gardens existed exactly as described, a genuine wonder of the ancient world that time and war eventually erased. Perhaps they were exaggerated in the retelling, grown more magnificent with each generation of storytellers. Or perhaps some scholars suggest they were built elsewhere, in another city, and attributed to Babylon because Babylon was already synonymous with impossible grandeur. But tonight, as you rest here in the quiet darkness, the historical truth matters less than the beauty of the story itself. Whether built by Nebuchadnezzar's hand or by collective human imagination, the Hanging Gardens exist where all perfect things exist, in the realm of story, dream, and possibility. And in that realm, we can walk their terraces, smell their flowers, and hear their waters flowing endlessly, eternally, peacefully through the warm Mesopotamian air. So let us choose to believe. Let us step into the story as if stepping through a doorway in time, leaving behind our questions and our doubts, and simply accepting that, in ancient Babylon, in the days when Nebuchadnezzar ruled and a Midas gazed toward distant mountains, there stood gardens that touched the sky. Feel the warmth of the Mesopotamian sun, softened now as afternoon moves toward evening. Feel the dry desert air begin to cool as shadows lengthen across the plains. The city around us continues its eternal rhythms, merchants closing their stalls, priests ascending temple steps for evening prayers, children called home as the first stars appear in the deepening blue. And somewhere in the heart of Babylon, near the palace walls where the king and queen reside, there rises something that should not be possible. Green upon green upon green, climbing upward in terraced layers, each level a garden unto itself, all of them together forming a mountain of living beauty. The Hanging Gardens. Even from a distance, even as the light softens and the day releases its hold, you can see the cascading vines, the tops of trees swaying gently in the evening breeze, the glint of water catching the last rays of sun. Tomorrow, we will explore how such a wonder came to be built, stone by stone and terrace by terrace. But tonight, it is enough to know that it exists, that love and vision and human determination brought it into being, and that somewhere in the gentle space between history and dream, these gardens bloom eternally, waiting for visitors who come seeking beauty, peace, and rest. The gardens are there, the air is warm, the water flows softly, and all is well. All is perfectly, peacefully well. And so the work begins, slowly, peacefully, with the patience of those who build for eternity. In the cool hours of early morning, when the sun is still a gentle promise on the eastern horizon, the first workers arrive at the site where the gardens will grow. They come with purpose but without hurry, their footsteps soft upon the ancient earth of Babylon. Stone masons and engineers, laborers and architects, all moving together like a quiet river flowing toward a shared dream. There is no rush here, no urgency, only the steady, measured rhythm of meaningful work, stone upon stone, brick upon brick, each piece placed with care, with intention, with the knowledge that what they build will outlast them all. The foundation begins first, of course, Deep trenches are dug into the earth, reaching down to where the soil is cool and firm. The workers move in patterns as old as civilization itself, lifting, placing, smoothing, checking. Their movements become a kind of meditation, repeated 1,000 times until the body knows the rhythm without thought. The first layer of stones is massive, each one carefully shaped and fitted to its neighbors with such precision that not even a blade of grass could slip between them. These foundation stones will bear the weight of everything to come, the terraces rising like mountains, the soil rich and deep, the water flowing upward in defiance of nature itself. But for now, there are only these stones, cool and solid, being set into place one by patient hands. The sound of it is soothing, the soft scrape of stone on stone, the gentle tap of hammers making minute adjustments, the quiet voices of workers coordinating their efforts in words worn smooth by repetition. As the morning light grows warmer, spreading like honey across the construction site, the first layer is complete, and then the second begins. Stone upon stone, layer upon layer. Each one a small accomplishment, each one bringing the dream a measure closer to reality. There is something deeply calming in this patient construction, in the way great things are built, not through dramatic gestures, but through countless small actions, repeated with care. The workers pause occasionally for water, for rest, and in these moments they look at what they've created. Still just the beginning, still only the foundation, but already something real, something solid, something that speaks of permanence. Days pass into weeks, and the foundation rises. Slowly, steadily, like a tree growing from seed to sapling, barely perceptible in any single moment, but undeniable over time. The rhythm of construction continues, peaceful and constant. Now the walls begin to take shape, the outer boundaries of each terrace being built up with massive brick and stone. These walls must be strong, strong enough to hold back tons of earth and water, strong enough to stand for centuries. The engineers have designed them with remarkable care. Inside each wall, hollow spaces are left, channels and passages where water will eventually flow, where air can circulate to keep the roots of plants healthy and cool. It's an architecture of both strength and breadth, solid yet alive with hidden passages. The bricklayers work in teams, passing bricks hand to hand in a chain that never seems to break. Each brick is placed, checked, adjusted if needed, and then mortared into place. The mortar itself is mixed with special care, clay and lime and secret ingredients known only to the master builders of Babylon. It spreads smooth and cool beneath the bricks, binding them into a single, continuous whole. The sound of it is rhythmic and soothing, the soft scrape of trowels, the gentle settling of brick upon brick, the quiet murmur of workers speaking in short, efficient phrases. As the walls rise higher, wooden scaffolding is erected, simple but sturdy structures that allow the workers to reach ever greater heights. They climb up and down these wooden ramps and ladders throughout the day, their movements steady and sure, never hurried. Each level takes time. Each terrace must be perfect before the next can begin. There is a meditative quality to watching this work, to imagining the patient progression of it. Nothing is forced, nothing is rushed. The gardens will be ready when they're ready, and not a moment before. As another day draws toward its peaceful close, the first terrace wall is complete. It stands perhaps 20 feet high, a gentle curve of brick and stone that will one day hold a garden floating in the air. But tonight, it is simply a wall, warm from the day's sun, solid and real. The workers stand back and look at what they've made. In the soft evening light, it looks almost golden, almost eternal. Tomorrow, they will begin to fill it. Now comes the filling of the terraces, a task both massive and gentle. Great quantities of earth must be brought to the site. Rich, fertile soil gathered from the banks of the Euphrates where the spring floods have deposited layer upon layer of nourishing sediment. This soil is different from the dry earth of the surrounding plains. It's darker, heavier, with the weight of life within it. Cart after cart arrives, pulled by patient oxen who know the route by heart. The carts are unloaded by workers with wide shovels, and the earth is spread across the first terrace in careful layers. It must be deep enough for roots to reach down and establish themselves, deep enough to hold moisture, but not so compacted that water cannot drain. The gardeners, specialists in their craft, walk across the freshly spread soil, testing it with their feet, crumbling it in their hands, nodding in satisfaction, or directing adjustments. Between layers of soil, materials are added for drainage, gravel and broken pottery shards, reeds bundled together, anything that will allow excess water to flow away while keeping the soil moist and alive. This layering continues for days, a patient building of earth upon earth, creating a deep bed where wonders will eventually grow. As the terraces fill with soil, the water system begins to take shape. This is perhaps the most remarkable aspect of the entire construction, the chain pump that will lift water from the Euphrates River far below, up through the terraces, feeding each level in turn. The mechanism is ingenious in its simplicity. A great wheel is installed at the river's edge, turned by the strength of oxen or slaves walking in an endless circle. Attached to this wheel are buckets on a continuous chain, each one scooping water from the river and carrying it upward as the wheel turns. At the top, the buckets tip and pour their contents into channels carved into the stone, and from there, the water flows by gravity through the entire garden system. The installation of this machinery is slow, careful work. Each component must be perfectly aligned, perfectly balanced. The wheel must turn smoothly without resistance. The buckets must be secured so they won't break free. The channels must be precisely angled so the water flows evenly to every terrace, every tree, every plant. Day after day, the engineers make tiny adjustments, testing and refining. And then one day, the wheel turns for the first time with water. The sound is beautiful, a gentle splashing as buckets lift their liquid cargo, a soft trickling as water flows into channels, a peaceful gurgling as it spreads through the garden terraces. The workers stop their labors for a moment to watch this first flow of water, this first sign that the gardens will truly live. The water catches the afternoon light, turning golden and amber as it flows. It's a moment of quiet triumph, of patient work rewarded. With water flowing and soil prepared, the planting begins. This is the gentlest work of all, requiring not strength but patience, not speed but care. The head gardeners arrive carrying seeds and saplings gathered from across the known world. From the mountains of Media come cypress and pine, their roots wrapped carefully in damp cloth. From distant lands to the east arrive date palms, already 10 years old, their trunks straight and strong. There are fig trees and pomegranates, grapevines and roses, herbs both fragrant and medicinal. Each plant has been chosen not just for beauty, but for meaning, for memory, for its ability to transform this Babylonian terrace into a vision of Amytas's mountainous homeland. The planting follows a careful design, though it's a design that embraces nature rather than constraining it. The largest trees go in first, the palms and cedars that will eventually provide shade and structure to the gardens. Deep holes are dug for each one, and the roots are placed with reverent care. Soil is packed around them gently but firmly, and then water, that precious hard-won water, is poured in abundance. Each tree is a promise, a commitment to the future. They will grow slowly, these trees, but given time and care, they will become the pillars of this hanging paradise. Between the trees, smaller plants find their places. Rose bushes are planted in groups, their roots already showing the first signs of spring growth. Grapevines are set near the terrace edges where they can cascade downward, creating living curtains of green and purple. Flower beds are prepared with special care, the soil mixed with compost to make it even richer, and then seeds are scattered, poppies and lilies, lotus and iris, each one chosen for color and fragrance. The gardeners work quietly, often in silence, their hands moving with the practiced ease of those who have spent a lifetime coaxing life from earth. They press seeds into soil with gentle fingers. They water with care, ensuring moisture reaches the roots without washing the seeds away. They speak softly to the plants, as gardeners do, words of encouragement and welcome. As each section is planted, it's marked with small stakes or stones so the gardeners will remember what grows where, what needs sun and what prefers shade, which plants should be near water and which prefer drier soil. This knowledge will be passed down, gardener to apprentice, for as long as these gardens stand. The work continues through the peaceful afternoon, one plant after another finding its home in this elevated earth. The terraces begin to show patches of green, small signs of life emerging. It will take time, seasons, perhaps years before the vision is fully realized. But already, the promise is there. Already, you can almost see what it will become. The construction phase draws toward completion, though in truth, the work of a garden is never truly finished. The terraces are built, stone upon stone, level upon level. The soil is deep and rich and ready. The water flows through its ingenious channels, reliable and constant. And the plants are in the ground, their roots reaching down, seeking nourishment, beginning the patient process of growth. In these final days of construction, the focus shifts to the details, the refinements that transform engineering into art. Pathways are laid between the planted sections, smooth stones set into the earth, winding gently through the terraces so that one day visitors can walk among the greenery without trampling delicate plants. These paths follow the natural contours of the space, curving and turning in ways that invite exploration and discovery. Retaining walls between terraces are smoothed and finished, and in places, decorative tiles are added, glazed ceramics in deep blue and turquoise, bringing color even before the flowers bloom. Benches are carved from stone and placed at strategic points, spots where one might sit and rest and look out over the gardens and the city beyond. Trellises are erected for climbing plants, simple wooden structures that will eventually disappear beneath jasmine and honeysuckle. And everywhere, the finishing touches, small borders around flower beds, decorative stones placed just so, adjustments to the water channels to ensure even distribution. The workers move more slowly now, not from exhaustion, but from the awareness that this phase is ending. There's a bittersweet quality to completing something beautiful, a sense of accomplishment mixed with the knowledge that their daily purpose here is nearly fulfilled. But they work with no less care, perhaps even more, ensuring that every detail is exactly right. As the sun sets on the final day of construction, the chief engineer and the head gardener walk through the terraces together, inspecting everything one last time. They move in comfortable silence, occasionally pausing to admire a particularly fine piece of stonework or to adjust the angle of a young tree's stake. The water flows softly beside them, already finding its natural rhythms. The soil, freshly planted, radiates a sense of potential, of life waiting to emerge. The structure is complete, the systems are functioning, the seeds are planted. Now there is nothing to do but wait and trust and tend with patient care. The gardens have been built, stone upon stone, plant upon plant, each element placed with love and skill, and the deep hope that beauty might ease a queen's homesickness and stand as testament to a king's devotion. The work is done. The growing has just begun, and in the warm evening air of Babylon, everything is peaceful. Everything is ready. Everything is exactly as it should be. The gardens are complete now, reaching toward the sky in perfect green abundance, and you step through the great bronze gates to walk among their wonders for the first time. The morning sun is warm on your shoulders, gentle and golden, the kind of light that seems to turn everything it touches into something precious, something worth remembering. Before you, a wide path of pale limestone stretches into the heart of the first terrace, bordered on both sides by flowering shrubs that release their fragrance into the air with every breath of breeze. You can smell rosemary and thyme, the sharp green scent of herbs that grow wild in distant hills, but here have been gathered and arranged with thoughtful care. The path is smooth beneath your feet, worn slightly by the passage of gardeners who tend these plants each day with quiet devotion. And as you walk, you notice the way the light falls through the leaves overhead, creating patterns of brightness and shadow that shift and dance like living things. The first terrace spreads around you in a careful arrangement of beauty and purpose. Low beds of lavender line the walkways, their purple flowers still holding drops of morning dew that catch the light like tiny jewels. Between them, patches of mint and sage grow in orderly rows, their leaves brushing against the edges of the path, and when you pass, they release their oils into the air, filling your breath with coolness and calm. Beyond the herbs, small fruit trees have been planted in enormous clay vessels, their roots reaching deep into soil that has been carried here from the riverbanks, rich and dark and full of life. Young pomegranate trees bend slightly under the weight of their developing fruit, and fig trees spread their broad leaves to create pockets of shade where stone benches wait in quiet invitation. Everything here has been chosen with intention, placed with care, and the overall effect is one of peaceful abundance, of life flourishing exactly as it was meant to flourish. You hear water before you see it, the gentle sound of trickling and splashing that seems to come from everywhere at once, a constant background music that runs beneath all other sounds like a pulse, like a heartbeat. Following the sound, you discover a channel carved into the stone floor of the terrace, no wider than your hand, where clear water flows in a steady stream from one level to the next. The channel is lined with smooth pebbles, carefully fitted together so the water moves without resistance, and along its edges, moss has begun to grow, turning the stone a soft green that seems to glow in the filtered sunlight. You kneel beside the channel and let your fingers trail through the water, feeling its coolness, and you understand that this small stream is part of something much larger, a system of channels and fountains and reservoirs that carries water from the river far below up through every level of these gardens, bringing life to every plant, every tree, every growing thing. The water flows without effort, without end, reliable as the seasons, and its presence turns what might have been merely a collection of plants into something living and whole and interconnected. Rising from the first terrace, a broad stairway of sun-warmed stone leads upward to the second level, and you climb slowly, in no hurry, pausing on each step to look back at the view that unfolds behind you. From here, you can see out over the first terrace, across the ordered rows of herbs and the small fruit trees, beyond the walls of the palace grounds to where the city of Babylon spreads in all directions, a vast tapestry of mud brick buildings, their flat roofs creating a geometric pattern that extends to the horizon. In the distance, the Euphrates moves in its ancient channel, a ribbon of reflected light, and beyond that, the plains shimmer in the heat, the boundary between earth and sky, blurring into a haze of gold and blue. But you turn back to the gardens, to the cool green world that rises above the dusty city, and you continue climbing, drawn upward by curiosity and the promise of more wonders waiting above. The second terrace welcomes you into a world of deeper green and dappled shade, where the plantings grow taller and the sense of enclosure becomes more pronounced, more intimate. Here, the trees are larger than those below, their branches spreading wide to create a canopy that filters the sunlight into soft, shifting patterns of gold and shadow. Date palms rise like columns, their trunks straight and strong, their fronds spreading overhead in graceful arcs that rustle and whisper with even the smallest movement of air. Between the palms, flowering vines have been trained to climb wooden trellises, and they cascade downward in curtains of green leaves and bright blossoms. Jasmine with its small white flowers, honeysuckle dripping with nectar, and roses in shades of pink and cream that release their perfume in waves, subtle at first, and then suddenly overwhelming in its sweetness. You walk beneath these hanging gardens within gardens, brushing past flowers that nod on their stems, and the air is thick with fragrance and the hum of bees moving from blossom to blossom in their patient, purposeful work. The paths on this level wind and curve rather than running straight, encouraging you to slow your pace, to meander, to discover what lies around each gentle turn. Stone fountains appear at intervals along the way, simple basins where water bubbles up from hidden pipes and spills over the edges to feed the channels below. The fountains are surrounded by ferns and shade-loving plants that thrive in the constant moisture, their leaves a darker, glossier green than those in the brighter spaces. You pause beside one fountain, watching the water as it rises and falls, and the repetition is hypnotic, soothing, a rhythm that seems to slow time itself. Small birds come to drink at the fountain's edge, hopping close and then darting away, their songs joining the sound of the water in a quiet symphony of life. Everything here feels protected, sheltered, like a secret world hidden away from the heat and dust of the plains below. Climbing again, you ascend to the third terrace through a tunnel formed by overhanging branches, where the air grows cooler and the light takes on a greenish quality, as if you're underwater, as if you're moving through liquid rather than air. The third level is perhaps the most lush of all, the most extravagant in its greenery. Here, trees that would normally grow in mountain forests have somehow been persuaded to flourish, cedar, and cypress with their aromatic wood, their evergreen branches creating year-round shade, and flowering almonds that must have bloomed weeks ago, their petals now fallen to create pink carpets on the ground. The gardeners have created small groves in this space, clusters of trees arranged to suggest wilderness, to evoke the feeling of discovering a natural clearing in an untamed forest, though every element has been carefully planned and placed. Benches carved from stone rest in these groves, positioned to catch the breeze, to offer views of the plantings, and you sit for a while, letting the coolness of the stones seep through your clothing, listening to the leaves overhead and the ever-present sound of moving water. From where you sit, you can observe the way the garden functions as a whole, the way each level supports and enhances the others. Water flows downward from somewhere above, moving through its channels with mathematical precision, and the moisture it provides creates microclimates that allow plants from distant regions to grow side by side. Mountain cedars and desert palms, roses from Persia, and herbs from Mediterranean hillsides. The engineering that makes this possible is hidden, invisible, but its effects are everywhere, in every thriving leaf and blooming flower. You think about the planners and builders who made this vision real, who solved problems that had never been solved before, who turned stone and water into life, and you feel a quiet gratitude for their work, for their vision, for the legacy of beauty they have left for you to wander through. The third terrace is a place of abundance, of plenty, and sitting here in the cool shade, you feel surrounded by generosity, by the earth's willingness to grow and bloom when given the right conditions, when tended with knowledge and care. You rise from your rest and continue upward, always upward, climbing the stairs that connect each terrace to the next, and with each level you ascend, the view expands and the air grows clearer, less heavy with moisture and fragrance, more touched by the open sky. The fourth terrace is a place of light and color, where flowering plants dominate the landscape, and the effect is less like a forest and more like a tapestry woven from living threads. Beds of irises bloom in purples and yellows, their petals like silk, and tulips imported from distant eastern lands stand in precise rows, their cup-shaped flowers holding the light like vessels. Poppies sway on thin stems, their red petals translucent when the sun shines through them, and daisies spread in informal drifts between the more formal plantings, their white petals and yellow centers creating points of brightness that draw the eye. The fourth terrace is a celebration of color, a place where the gardeners have given free rein to beauty for its own sake. And walking through it feels like moving through a living painting, one that changes with every shift of light and every passing hour. The water here appears not in channels but in pools, shallow basins lined with blue tile that reflects the sky and turns the water a brilliant turquoise. Lotus flowers float on the surface of these pools, their pink and white blossoms opening to the sun, and water lilies spread their round leaves across the water like small green islands. Fish move lazily beneath the surface, flashes of gold and silver in the depths, and dragonflies hover above the water on wings that catch the light like stained glass. You kneel beside one of these pools, looking down into your own reflection, and for a moment you see yourself surrounded by flowers and sky, held in a perfect circle of blue and green, and the image is so peaceful, so complete, that you almost don't want to disturb it by moving. But you do move, slowly, carefully, continuing your journey through this level, pausing to admire each new grouping of flowers, each new combination of colors and shapes. The plantings here have been arranged not just for beauty, but for sequence, for progression through the seasons. You can see evidence of flowers that have already bloomed and faded, their seed heads forming where petals once were, and you can see buds just beginning to swell with the promise of future blossoms. The garden is not static, but ever-changing, a living system that marks the passage of time in growth and decay and renewal. Walking among these beds, you become aware of the cycles, of the way everything here is connected to larger rhythms, the turning of the seasons, the movement of the sun across the sky, the rising and falling of the river in its distant channel. The garden is a clock, a calendar, a way of making time visible and beautiful, and being here makes you conscious of your own place in these rhythms, your own participation in the endless cycles of life. Near the center of the fourth terrace, a larger fountain sends water high into the air, where it catches the light and falls back in a glittering cascade, and the sound it makes is different from the quiet trickling of the lower levels. Here the water laughs and splashes, joyful and exuberant. The fountain is surrounded by a circular seating area, and you find a place on the warm stone rim, feeling the occasional spray of water cooling your face, watching the way the fountain creates rainbows in the mist when the sun hits it from the right angle. This is a social space, designed for gathering, for conversation, for the simple pleasure of being together in a beautiful place. Though right now you have it to yourself, and the solitude makes it feel even more precious, even more like a gift. You could stay here for hours, watching the water and the flowers and the way the light changes, and in this moment, there is nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to do. The fourth terrace has given you permission to simply exist, to be present, to let the beauty of the world wash over you like the cooling spray from the fountain, and you accept that permission gratefully, settling more deeply into the peace that surrounds you. Eventually, drawn by curiosity and the desire to see what lies above, you leave the fourth terrace and climb the final stairway, the one that leads to the highest level, to the crown of these hanging gardens. The stairs are narrower here, more worn, used less frequently, and they wind upward in a gentle spiral that makes you lose track of direction, of how high you've climbed. When you finally emerge onto the fifth terrace, the change is immediate and profound. Here, at the very top, the plantings are different, sparser, more carefully chosen, arranged for viewing rather than for immersion. The trees are smaller, shaped by patient hands into graceful forms, their branches trained to grow in specific directions, to create balanced compositions of trunk and branch and leaf. These are contemplation gardens, meditation spaces, places designed for quiet thought and peaceful solitude. The fifth terrace is open to the sky in a way the lower levels are not, with fewer overhanging branches to filter the light, and the sun here feels more direct, warmer, though the breeze is also stronger this high above the ground, bringing coolness to balance the warmth. Walking paths of pale gravel wind between small raised beds where individual specimen plants grow in splendid isolation. A perfectly shaped juniper, a flowering quince with branches that zigzag in interesting patterns, a small grove of bamboo that rattles and whispers in the wind with a sound like distant rain. Each plant has space around it, room to be appreciated individually, to be seen as a work of living art rather than as part of a larger tapestry. You walk slowly between these plantings, stopping often, giving each one its due attention, and the practice of looking, really looking, at each plant becomes a meditation in itself, a way of clearing the mind and focusing on the present moment. At the far edge of the terrace, a low wall marks the boundary of the garden, and beyond it, the view opens to infinity. You approach the wall slowly, almost reverently, and when you reach it and look out, the sight takes your breath away. Below you, the entire city of Babylon spreads like a map, like a toy city made of clay blocks. You can see the great walls that encircle the city, the wide processional way that runs straight as an arrow toward the Ishtar Gate, the temples and palaces, and the ziggurat rising in the distance like a mountain made by human hands. The Euphrates cuts through the landscape in broad curves, and beyond the city, the plains extend forever, fading into distance, into the horizon, into the edge of the world. From this height, you can see the pattern of irrigation channels that bring water to the fields, turning desert into farmland, and you can see roads radiating outward in all directions, connecting Babylon to all the other places in the world, to the mountains and the sea and the distant kingdoms. But after taking in this vast panorama, you turn back to the garden itself, because as magnificent as the view of the empire may be, it's the quiet beauty of the plants and water and carefully arranged stones that truly captures your attention, that truly brings peace. Here on the highest terrace, stone benches have been positioned to face inward, toward the garden, rather than outward toward the view, and you understand the wisdom in this choice. The world is vast and full of wonders, but sometimes what we need most is to focus on small things, on simple things, on the way water moves over stone, and the way leaves turn in the breeze, and the way a single flower opens its petals to the sun. You choose a bench and sit, letting your breathing slow, letting your thoughts settle like silt drifting to the bottom of a still pool. The highest terrace is a place for endings and beginnings, for seeing clearly and letting go. And as you sit here in the warm Babylonian sunlight, surrounded by the patient beauty of growing things, you feel something inside yourself relax, some tension you didn't know you were holding release and float away on the breeze like a seed seeking new ground. Time passes differently here in the gardens, stretching and slowing until you're no longer quite sure if you've been sitting for minutes or hours. And it doesn't matter, because time itself has become irrelevant, just another thing to let go of, to release into the warm afternoon air. You begin to descend again, retracing your steps through the levels, but the journey down is different from the journey up. Now you notice things you missed before. The way certain plants have been positioned to frame views of other plants, the way paths curve to reveal surprises around each corner, the way water sounds different depending on whether it's flowing over smooth stone or rough, whether it's falling from a height or trickling along a channel. The garden reveals itself in layers, in details, and each time you pass through, you see something new, something that was always there, but waiting for you to be ready to perceive it. Descending through the third terrace, you notice how the light has changed, how it slants now from a different angle, painting the leaves in warmer tones, turning everything golden. The shadows are longer, stretching across the paths like dark streams, and the air has begun to cool, just slightly, enough to be noticeable, enough to be refreshing after the warmth of the highest level. A gardener passes you on the path, carrying a clay jug of water, and nods in greeting, but doesn't speak, respecting the quiet, the contemplative atmosphere that fills the garden like invisible mist. You return the nod and continue down, stepping carefully on stairs that have been worn smooth by countless feet over the weeks and months since the garden opened, each footfall a small contribution to the gradual erosion that will eventually make these stairs part of the natural landscape, indistinguishable from stone shaped by wind and rain rather than by human hands. On the second terrace, you pause again by the fountain where the birds were drinking earlier, and you find them returned, or perhaps different birds. It's impossible to tell, but they're engaged in the same activity, hopping to the water's edge, dipping their beaks, throwing their heads back to swallow. Watching them, you're struck by the simplicity of their needs, the elegance of their movements, and you feel a kinship with them, a recognition that you too are a creature in need of simple things: water, shelter, beauty, peace. The fountain provides for the birds, and in a way the entire garden provides for you, offering exactly what you didn't know you needed: a place to slow down, to breathe, to remember that life is more than tasks and obligations, that there is time, there is always time, for beauty and wonder. Returning to the first terrace, you find it transformed by the afternoon light, the herbs glowing as if lit from within, their leaves catching the golden rays and holding them like tiny lanterns. The scent of the plants seems stronger now, released by the heat of the day, and walking through them is like walking through clouds of fragrance: rosemary sharp and bright, lavender sweet and calming, thyme earthy and warm. You trail your hand along the tops of the plants, feeling their texture, their vitality, and you think about how they'll still be here tomorrow and the day after, growing slowly, patiently, doing what plants do best, which is simply to be, to exist, to turn sunlight and water and soil into life. There's a lesson in that, in their patience, in their acceptance of the rhythms of growth and rest. And you carry that lesson with you as you approach the bronze gates through which you entered what seems like a lifetime ago. Before passing through the gates and returning to the world beyond, you turn back one final time to look at the gardens rising above you, terrace upon terrace, green and lush and impossibly beautiful. The water still flows through its channels, the breeze still moves through the leaves, and everything continues just as it was, just as it will be tomorrow and all the tomorrows after that. The gardens don't need you to exist, they are complete in themselves, but you needed them, and they welcomed you, and now they release you back into your life, carrying something precious, something that can't quite be named but feels like peace, like gratitude, like the memory of walking through paradise in the warm Babylonian sunlight. You step through the gates, but part of you remains behind, will always remain behind, walking those terraced paths forever in a place where beauty grows and water flows, and everything always is exactly as it should be. And as the day begins to soften, as the bright Babylonian sun drifts lower toward the horizon, the gardens transform once more. The light changes, becomes gentler, warmer, golden rather than white. The air cools just slightly, just enough to notice, just enough to bring relief. The heat that shimmered over the stone all day long begins to dissipate, releasing back into the atmosphere, and in its place comes something softer, something almost like a sigh. The gardens at twilight are different from the gardens at midday. They are quieter, more intimate. The visitors who walked the paths in daylight have returned to their homes, to the palace halls, to the city beyond these walls. And now the gardens belong to those who tend them, who know them, who love them. The gardeners move through the terraces with familiar steps, their sandaled feet whispering against the stone pathways. They do not hurry. There is no need to hurry. They have walked these paths 1,000 times, 10,000 times. They know where each plant grows, where the water flows strongest, where the soil needs attention. A young man kneels beside a bed of herbs, his fingers gentle as he pinches back the stems, encouraging new growth. The scent of crushed mint rises from his hands, sharp and clean. Nearby, an older woman tends to a flowering vine that climbs one of the columns supporting the terrace above. She murmurs to it softly, words of encouragement, words of praise. The vine has grown well this season. Its blossoms are abundant, white and star-shaped, releasing their perfume into the cooling air. She ties a wayward stem back into place with a strip of soft cloth, her movements patient, practiced. This is her work. This is her meditation. Stone and water and growing things, the rhythm of the seasons, the cycle of bloom and seed and bloom again. Above, the sky deepens from bright blue to something richer, something that holds within it the promise of night. Not yet dark, but no longer day. The in-between time, the threshold. Birds begin to circle back toward the gardens, returning to roosts they have claimed among the branches. A pair of doves settles onto a cedar branch, their soft cooing a gentle counterpoint to the ever-present sound of water. Everything is transitioning, moving from one state into another, from light into darkness, from activity into rest. And the gardens hold this transition tenderly, the way they hold everything, with patience and with grace. The water continues its endless journey through the gardens, just as it has done since the first day these terraces were completed. Up from the Euphrates, drawn by the great screws that turn and turn, lifted terrace by terrace, higher and higher, until it reaches the uppermost levels and begins its descent, flowing through channels carved into stone, cascading over edges into pools below, trickling through small carved openings to feed the roots of trees and flowers. The sound of it is constant, but never monotonous. It changes with each level, each drop, each surface it encounters. Here, a gentle splash as it falls into a wide basin. There, a soft gurgling as it moves through a narrow channel. Everywhere, the whisper of its movement, like breath, like heartbeat, the living pulse of the gardens. A servant boy walks along one of the upper terraces, checking the flow, making sure nothing is blocked, that the water moves freely as it should. He pauses at one channel, noticing a fallen leaf that is caught against the edge. He plucks it out, sets it aside. The water flows more smoothly now, unimpeded. He continues on, his task simple but important. Everything here requires attention. Everything here is cared for. The water knows this. It responds to this care by flowing freely, generously, bringing life to every corner of these terraced heights. In the pools, small fish drift lazily, their scales catching the amber light of evening. They are golden, these fish, brought from distant streams to live here among the garden's wonders. They move slowly, peacefully, rising occasionally to the surface to take an insect, then descending again into the cooler depths. They have no concerns. They are fed, protected, their world contained within these perfect pools. The water that sustains them is cool and clean, constantly renewed. They are, in their way, as content as any creature can be. And watching them, you feel something of that contentment transfer to you. The slow drift, the gentle movement, the absence of urgency. Time moves differently here in the gardens at twilight. It stretches, becomes elastic, less measured. Minutes might be hours, hours might be moments. It does not matter. The sun continues its slow descent, and the shadows lengthen, soft and purple, across the pathways. The stone holds the warmth of the day, releasing it slowly back into the air. If you placed your hand against the wall, you would feel it, that stored heat, gentle and comforting. The gardens remember the sun even as they welcome the coming night. As the light continues to fade, the scents of the garden grow stronger, as if released by the cooling air. Jasmine, always jasmine, its perfume sweet and intoxicating, drifting on the breeze. Cedar, rich and resinous, from the great trees that tower over the upper terraces. Rose, delicate and layered, from the bushes that line the pathways, their petals soft as silk. Mint and thyme and lavender from the herb gardens, sharp and clean and grounding. Each scent distinct, yet all of them blending together into something uniquely of this place. If you closed your eyes, you would know you were in the hanging gardens. Nowhere else in the world smells quite like this. The evening breeze moves through the gardens with gentle insistence, rustling the leaves, stirring the hanging vines, carrying these fragrances from terrace to terrace. It is not a strong wind, nothing harsh or forceful. It is a caress, soft and cool, welcome after the heat of the day. The gardeners pause in their work to feel it on their faces, to let it dry the perspiration on their brows. One woman stands at the edge of a terrace, looking out over the levels below, her eyes half closed, simply feeling the wind, breathing in the scented air. This is why she does this work, these moments, this peace. The leaves respond to the breeze, each in their own way. The broad fronds of the date palms sway gently, a slow, graceful dance. The smaller leaves of the oleander flutter and shake, light and quick. The vines that hang from the terrace edges ripple like water, like curtains, like living waterfalls of green. And through it all, the birds settle in for the evening, their songs becoming quieter, more intermittent. A last few calls, greetings or farewells, or simple acknowledgments of presence. Then silence, or near silence, as they tuck their heads beneath their wings and surrender to the coming darkness. A nightingale, perched in a pomegranate tree, offers one long, liquid trill, heartbreakingly beautiful, then falls quiet. The gardens listen. The gardens always listen. They hold these sounds, these scents, these sensations, the way they hold the water and the soil and the growing things. Everything here is held. Everything here is safe. You walk slowly along one of the middle terraces, your hand trailing along the stone wall. The surface is smooth, worn by countless hands before yours. You can feel the history in it, the presence of all those who have walked here, who have touched these same stones. You are connected to them, to the gardeners and the visitors, to Queen Amidis herself, who may have walked this very path, felt this same breeze, smelled these same flowers. Time collapses. Past and present exist together in this moment, in this eternal twilight that seems as though it could last forever. The work of the day draws to a close. The gardeners complete their final tasks with unhurried movements, checking one last time that all is well. A man empties a clay watering vessel into the soil around a young tree, watching as the water soaks in, darkening the earth. Satisfied, he nods to himself and sets the vessel aside. A woman gathers her tools, a small trowel, a pruning knife, a length of twine, and places them carefully in a woven basket. She will return them to the storage room where they will rest until tomorrow. Another day, another round of tending, the cycle unending. But there is no weariness in this thought, no sense of burden. This is simply how it is. The gardens grow, and so they must be tended. The seasons turn, and so the work changes with them. Planting and pruning, watering and weeding, harvesting and preparing for the next growth. It is all one great rhythm, and these people are part of it, just as the plants themselves are part of it, just as the water and the stone and the Babylonian earth are part of it. They move through the gardens in small groups now or alone, heading toward the stairs that will take them down, 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 back to ground level, back to their homes in the city beyond the palace walls. They speak quietly among themselves or walk in companionable silence. The day is done. They have done well. The gardens flourish under their care. As they descend, the terraces above them seem to float in the gathering dusk, Each level, a mysterious shadowland of hanging green and flowing water. From below, looking up, the gardens seem almost impossible. How can such abundance exist in the air, suspended above the earth? It is magic, surely. It is a wonder. And even those who work here every day, who know the engineering, who understand the channels and the screws, and the careful planning that makes it all possible, even they feel the wonder of it. Even they stand sometimes and simply look, amazed. The fountains continue to flow as the gardeners depart. The water does not rest. It knows no fatigue. It simply is, moving through its appointed channels, fulfilling its purpose. The sound of it fills the emptying gardens, becomes even more apparent now that the voices of people have faded. Water and breeze and the occasional rustle of a leaf. That is all. That is everything. The gardens in twilight, in the cusp between day and night, holding both, belonging fully to neither, a liminal space, a threshold, a place where transformation happens, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, where stone and water and earth combine to create something that touches the divine. And now the gardens are quiet, truly quiet, as the last light drains from the sky. The sun is set beyond the walls of Babylon, beyond the ziggurat and the temples, beyond the city gates and the distant horizon. The sky holds on to the memory of light, deep purple, indigo, the faintest edge of orange gold along the western rim of the world. Then even that fades and the first stars appear, tentative at first, then more confident, more numerous. They emerge one by one, then by tens, by hundreds, until the sky is full of them, a vast field of distant lights, eternal witnesses to everything below. The gardens rest beneath this canopy of stars, patient and still. The terraces are layers of soft darkness now, the details obscured, but the essential forms still visible. The vertical lines of columns, the horizontal sweep of pathways, the irregular shapes of trees and hanging vines. Everything rendered in shades of blue and purple and deep green, colors of night, colors of dreams. The water still flows, its sound even more soothing now in the darkness. You cannot see it clearly, but you can hear it, feel it, sense its presence all around. That constant gentle music, note after note, the same, but always different, unchanging, yet never static. It is the heartbeat of this place, steady and sure. You find yourself drawn to one of the stone benches placed along a pathway, and you sit, allowing yourself to rest fully. The stone is still faintly warm beneath you. The air is cool and fragrant. Above, the stars turn slowly in their ancient patterns. You breathe in, breathe out, in rhythm with the water, in rhythm with the night. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. The gardens hold you here, gently, without force, the way they hold everything. You are safe here, you are home. And as you sit in the soft darkness, the gardens seem to whisper their secrets, seem to share their ancient peace. They have stood here for so long, have seen so much, and yet they remain eternal in their beauty, eternal in their tranquility. Kingdoms rise and fall, empires come and go, but the water flows, and the plants grow, and the stars turn overhead, and everything always is exactly as it should be. You close your eyes and let yourself simply be here, in this moment, in this place, suspended between earth and sky, between past and future, existing only in the eternal now, the hanging gardens of Babylon, at twilight under the stars, and you, at rest, at peace, held safely in the heart of an ancient wonder. And here you remain, in this timeless place, where the boundaries of sleep and waking blur, like watercolors bleeding gently into one another. The stars above are fixed points of light, ancient and steady, watching over these gardens as they have watched for thousands of years. Time itself seems to pause here, suspended in the cool night air like a breath held between heartbeats. You can feel the stone beneath you, solid and eternal, warmed by the day's sun, and now releasing that warmth slowly, gradually, into the night. The terraces rise around you in layers of shadow and silvered greenery, each level a soft silhouette against the deeper darkness beyond. Water continues its endless journey downward, terrace to terrace, stone to stone, the sound so constant it becomes part of the silence itself, a rhythmic whisper that asks nothing of you, expects nothing, simply flows as it has always flowed. Your breath matches this rhythm without effort, without thought. In and the water flows, out and the leaves whisper, in and the stars shine, out and you sink deeper into this moment, this place, this perfect stillness. The garden holds you as it has held countless souls before, cradling you in greenery and stone, in water and starlight. You are not separate from this place. You are woven into it, part of the tapestry of leaves and shadows, of ancient wisdom and timeless peace. Let yourself rest here completely. There is nowhere else to be, nothing else to do. The gardens breathe around you, a living presence that asks only that you surrender to this gentle embrace. The night deepens, the stars turn slowly overhead, and you, held safely in the heart of wonder, release yourself into rest. Each thought that arises floats away like a leaf on water, drifting down the terraces, carried by the current towards some distant, unimportant place. Here now, there is only the garden, only the night, only peace. The garden breathes with you, a slow and measured rhythm that requires no conscious effort. You can feel it in the gentle movement of leaves, in the patient trickle of water, in the cool air that settles over the terraces like a soft blanket woven from starlight and shadow. Each breath you take draws in the scent of night-blooming jasmine, of damp earth, of ancient stone that has stood for ages beyond counting. Each exhale releases you further into stillness, into the embrace of this place that exists outside of time. The terraces around you are layered dreams, each one a different whisper of green and shadow, of flower and vine. You need not climb them or descend them. You need only rest here, knowing they surround you, protect you, hold you in their gentle geometry of stone and soil. Water finds its way down through channels, carved with patient hands, following the path laid out for it centuries ago, never rushing, never hesitating, simply flowing because that is its nature. And you, like the water, follow your own natural path, the path toward sleep, toward rest, toward the deep quiet that lives at the center of all things. The stars above are scattered like seeds across the dark field of the sky, each one a small light, a small promise, a small reminder that even in darkness there is beauty. You can almost hear them singing, a silent song that resonates with the water and the leaves, with your own heartbeat and breath. Everything is connected here, woven together in a web of peace so fine and strong that nothing can disturb it. Your body becomes heavy, pleasantly weighted, as though the garden itself is gently pressing you down into rest, encouraging you to let go completely. And you do. You let go of the day that has passed, of the day that will come. You let go of worries and plans, of memories and anticipations. Here, in this eternal moment, there is only the garden, only the night, only the soft and gentle presence of peace. Time dissolves like mist in morning sun, though here there is no morning, only the endless gentle night, the eternal now. You rest among the terraces, and the terraces rest around you, and all is stillness, all is peace. The water flows. It has always flowed, it will always flow, and its sound is the sound of eternity itself, patient and unchanging. Down through stone channels, over smooth lips of rock, gathering in shallow pools that reflect the stars like mirrors, scattered throughout the garden. Each pool holds the whole sky within it, and each pool releases it again, letting the water carry on its journey toward the earth below. You are like those pools. You hold the peace of this place within you, and then you let it flow through you, becoming part of its endless circulation through the garden of the world. Your breathing has become so slow, so gentle, that you barely notice it. In, and the air fills you with the coolness of night. Out, and you release everything that no longer serves you. In, and you draw in peace. Out, and you let go. The rhythm is ancient, older than Babylon, older than the gardens themselves, old as the first breath ever taken under stars. You are connected to that first breath, to every breath that has ever been, to the breathing of the garden itself. Leaves rustle so softly you can barely hear them, a whisper within a whisper, a secret shared between the night and the green growing things that love the darkness as much as they love the light. Somewhere in the distance, beyond the terraces, beyond the walls of Babylon, the world continues its turning. But here, at the center, there is only stillness. Here, you are held outside of time, outside of change, in a moment that extends infinitely in all directions. The stone beneath you has become part of you, or you have become part of it. The boundary is no longer clear, no longer important. You are resting, deeply resting, held by the gardens, held by the earth, held by the eternal rhythm of water and stone, of leaf and star. Rest now, completely, without reservation. Let the gardens hold you as they have held so many before. Kings and servants, dreamers and seekers, all who came here to find peace. The terraces rise and fall in their ancient pattern, each stone placed by hands long turned to dust, each plant descended from seeds carried across deserts and mountains to create this impossible paradise. And yet it lives still, in this moment, eternal and present, breathing softly under the stars. You can feel the presence of all those who tended these gardens, who walked these paths, who rested in these shadows. They are not ghosts, but gentle presences, part of the peace that permeates this place, woven into the very fabric of the garden itself. Their care, their patience, their love for this green and growing sanctuary, all of it remains, held in the stones, released by the water, carried on the night breeze that moves so slowly through the leaves. You are connected to them, part of the same eternal story, the same dream of paradise suspended between earth and heaven. The water continues its whispering song, the same notes repeated endlessly, a lullaby older than memory. Listen to it without trying to listen. Let it wash over you, through you, around you. Let it carry away anything that keeps you from complete rest. The stars turn slowly overhead in their ancient dance, marking time in a way that has no meaning here, where all moments are one moment, where past and future collapse into the eternal present. Your body is so relaxed now, so heavy and soft, that you can barely feel its edges. You are becoming part of the garden itself, dissolving into peace, into stillness, into the deep and gentle darkness that holds all light within it. There is nothing to fear here, nothing to resist. Only the soft embrace of stone and greenery, only the eternal flow of water, only the watching stars, only peace, only rest, only this moment lasting forever. And so you rest, here in the hanging gardens of Babylon, suspended between earth and sky, between waking and sleep, between the world and the dream. The terraces hold you, the water sings you deeper into peace, the stars watch over you with their ancient, patient light. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to seek. You have arrived at the place of perfect rest, and here you will remain, held safely, gently, in the heart of wonder. The garden breathes, you breathe. The night breathes, all one breath, one rhythm, one peace. Stone and water, leaf and star, shadow and light, all flowing together in the eternal now. Let yourself sink deeper still, down through layers of consciousness like the water sinking through layers of terrace, down and down into the soft darkness that waits at the center of all things. This is not an empty darkness, but a full one, rich with peace, pregnant with rest. Here, at the deepest level of the garden, at the deepest level of yourself, there is only stillness, only silence, only the gentle presence of peace that has no beginning and no end. The hanging gardens hold you in their timeless embrace. The stars continue their slow turning overhead. The water flows on, eternal and patient. And you rest, held safely, peacefully, in this ancient wonder, in this moment that lasts forever, dissolving into sleep, into peace, into the soft and gentle night. Breathing with the gardens, breathing with the earth, breathing with the stars, sinking deeper, deeper still, into rest, into peace, into sleep. The gardens around you, the night above you, the stone beneath you, all holding you, all cradling you, all whispering the same gentle invitation. Rest now. Rest. Rest in the eternal gardens, in the timeless peace. Rest and let go completely into sleep. Thank you for listening tonight. If this story helped you drift off, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more calming stories. Sweet dreams, and I'll see you next time.